Right, so we're in the new Audi R8 V10 Plus, loaned to us from Audi UK and the guys in Audi Leeds. It's the second incarnation of the Audi R8. It's a major revision, much like in 2011 where it had minor tweaks, cosmetic and mechanical. This feels like an entirely new car. Two variations now in the specification for the R8. There's the standard R8, which is a V10 5.2, normally aspirated, and then there's also now the Plus level R8, which comes with additional extras along the lines of ceramic brakes all round. It's a greater engine power at 610 versus the 540 as standard, and it feels like they've done an awful lot of work to this car. It's got a much more clearer sense of presence, and with the switchable performance settings from comfort through to dynamic and a race mode, it feels like they've really taken it up a level to what it really needed to be considered to be one of the capable supercars. The car itself has a very, very clear build quality. I mean, it's fantastic. It certainly feels like they've put a lot of effort into making sure that this car is put together up and above the normal sort of levels that you'd expect of some of these cars. Everything is absolutely perfectly built. There isn't a single squeak or rattle in this car. I can find nothing, which in itself is quite interesting because there's not many cars you get that out of at all. With regards to driving the car, the ceramic brakes are the usual. They need a good push to make them work, and then once they do, you need to ease back out of them as if they were a race brake. Fantastic though, feel is superb. But not only that, you've also got the essence of understanding exactly where the car is with the brakes, which is superb, absolutely excellent. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether this car has the performance pack on it or not with regards the dynamic steering, but it turns in beautifully. You can brake late into the corners and turning very, very last minute, and it feels very poised and balanced. It also feels like the offset from the front to the rear wheels is working really well, and I think this is a new thing for Audi. It's a BMW trick that they play on a lot of their sports model with a different diameter, with a different width of wheel in the rear, and they've got it right here. And having tested the car on the open motorway to feel how it reacts when you cross into the inside lane with the lorry tracks in the road, it handles it beautifully and does it really, really well. But even putting the car through the different driving modes, and you put it through into dynamic or into race mode, and it has a switchable baffle on the exhaust as well, which opens it up so you can feel whether actually feel at the moment that it actually opens up the baffles in the exhaust, and it's definitely got some poke, definitely up there now. Over 600 brake horse makes a lot of sense in this car. It brings it into the territory that you'd expect, close to the Huracan and the 458, the McLaren 570, etc. And the car starts the range at about 120,000 in the basic trim, and then goes through to, I think it's 134,000 in the Plus model. The spec of this car is putting it over 170, so actually it's a well-spec'd car. Full carbon inserts in matte inlay throughout the car, extended. It feels like they've put a lot of effort into making sure that this car is up there with all the other supercars. The engine itself is absolutely faultless. That sort of hollow metallic noise that you get from a normally aspirated big car, and especially a V10. It's superb. It's one of those engines that I think has the right degree of excitement about it. The V8 was a wonderful engine, and the lightness of that in the old car meant that it was very nimble. And although they've dropped the V8, they've shaved, I think it's 50 kilos off the whole chassis with regards to the way that they've built in this trim, so you don't really notice the difference in the extra engine weight. The car itself in race mode is very aggressive. You take it out of race mode and put it into dynamic mode, which is Audi's equivalent of the sport mode on most others, and it drives lovely. It hunts for gears sometimes a little bit too easily when it's in race mode, and holds off the engine note very, very aggressively, which is wonderful if you're feeling that way of driving. With the dynamic mode, you could drive it every day in dynamic, and you've got the edge there, but also there's still a huge degree of comfort in the car. I mean, my daily car is a 640M Sport, and in sport mode it's harder than this is in full race mode. So the engineers of Audi have worked wonders in moving in the adaptability into the chassis and into the suspension to make sure that you can drive it every day in a very aggressive mode and feel very comfortable. It's a fantastic car. They've done a very, very good job, and it is without a doubt one of the most usable supercars you'll come across at this sort of level. Drove it around town for probably an hour yesterday, and it was effortless. You have the option as well to open the baffles on a button, so if you do want to be noticed around town, you can always press the button, and even though it's in full comfort mode, it sounds like everybody's outside enjoying the car as well. Wonderful car, very, very well balanced, very usable. Very few cars, I think, come into the territory where you have that accessibility of real performance, but also the ability to get in it and drive it to work and drive it home and not feel like you've had to go through a stressful process. Fantastic all-round car. Well done, Audi.